Right, y'all, here we are. It's been a minute, but here we are at Ronald's Comics and Coffee, or Ronald's Coffee and Comics, whichever one you want to come first. But either way, we're going to read it and we're going to drink it. So we're going to enjoy the both of them. So the last time I was here, we were discussing what seemed so far away was the movie Superman 2025 and Fantastic Four 2025. So we did a trailer discussion. We even brought up Supergirl, but Supergirl wasn't quite. It was a mention that was going to be soon behind Superman, but it wasn't known what we know now. What we know now is that Supergirl will be out next year, 2026. And that's exciting. So I just basically want to talk about the comics in general. The comic movies, these comic movies, the genre, everybody's saying, the comic fatigue and we've had enough. And let's start with the fatigue thing first. Come on. First of all, if you are not what we consider a normie, and there's nothing wrong with being a normie, okay? If you're not a normie, all right, I consider myself, I am a comic book normie. I am going to always be there. I am going to always watch it if it's for the next 20 years, okay? And I've been watching them since they first came out. So that's just what it is. I love these comics. I love comic books. I grew up reading them. I was introduced to comics. My first comic that I read, that I remember, that really had an impression on me, was The Incredible Hulk when he was fighting Zax. Okay? And on the cover was The Incredible Hulk and Zax, where they were falling off of a building or a mountain. They were falling off of something, and Zax was getting the upper hand. And I was like, wow. I was probably like 8 years old. My dad had brought me some comics, and that's the first one that jumped out at me. The other ones were like Harvey comics, like probably like Richie Rich, some Walt Disney ones like Scamp. Do y'all remember Scamp? Does anyone remember Scamp? That type of stuff, you know. Woody Woodpecker, Chip and Dale. But that one Marvel comic that he brought me opened up a door that I was like, wow, okay? So we're talking back in 1974, all right? 74, 73, 74. But yeah, and I've been a fan ever since. I dabbled in some DC, and, you know, DC, I like some, okay, Batman's my favorite character in DC. Batman, then I would probably have to say Wonder Woman, then I'd probably have to say, I like to read Arrow, all right, Green Arrow, got some good stories because he's more, I don't know, I guess you could say, I don't like to use the word realistic because, let's say realistic, then that's to say that Superman is not realistic. These are comic books, these are stories, these are some things you can get into your fantasy and just, you know, kind of let your mind wander with these stories. So I'm not going to say realistic, but grounded. I'm going to use the word grounded. Green Arrow is grounded. So I enjoy reading Green Arrow, more of the grounded characters. Wonder Woman's probably the most not grounded that I enjoy, but Batman and anybody in the Batman family, Green Arrow, anybody outside of that, Lantern, and I might even get into some Aquaman, but, you know, outside of that, I've never been really that big of a fan. If they're in the Justice League, now I can read that. I can definitely get a daggone good kick out of that. But comic fans, right now, we can't be arguing about who. It's always okay to have a little bit of what do you say, competition. So we have Superman, we have Fantastic Four, Marvel, DC. Always gonna have that little battle. But there's a time where two opposite sides have to come together in order for one common cause. And that one common cause is to continue this thing that we have called comic book films. Okay? If one loses, we all lose. So we shouldn't be sitting here saying, oh yeah, I'm DC. Hope the Fantastic Four do terrible. If the Fantastic Four do terrible, then guess what? Superman's not going to do that great either. And if he does have an okay movie, it's going to eventually, maybe the next movie or the movie after that's going to, because what that is showing is fatigue. I don't believe there's fatigue. I believe a lot of people are being led by what they read, and a lot of people just don't have it within them to make their own decisions and make their own. A lot of people are followers. Okay, I'm not saying anyone in specific, but I'm telling you, and you know for your own self, that this is what we have. And people have to learn to be able to, follow their own path. And you might say, oh, dude, we're talking comic books here. You really gonna get all that deeper? Yeah, because if it's something as simple as comics, then what happens when you get into something that is real life, that is big, that is decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions, okay? So, yeah, we're going to talk about that with comics. Yes, we are. But the next thing I want to talk about is it seems that Superman is doing well. I don't agree with the things that some writers are saying, oh, well, Superman has to beat Man of Steel. If it doesn't beat Man of Steel, then it just needs to go away. Well, I think that's a crock of crap. Okay, what James Gunn has done is started a new universe. So within this new universe, James Gunn's Superman does not have to beat Man of Steel. It needs to perform well, and anything I believe $500,000 beyond is acceptable. And it definitely looks like he's going to do that. And beyond, I think he's going to beat Man of Steel. But just in case it doesn't have to. We're starting something new here, and everybody is getting on board. There's the normies, and then there's the casuals. The casuals are coming on board. They're watching it, and they're enjoying it. The Fantastic Four, I believe, is going to be the same thing. So all us Marvel fans, all us hardcore Marvels, we can't want to see the failure of DC. I'm not a Superman fan, but I want this movie to succeed. This movie has got to succeed, as well as Fantastic Four. They have both got to do 600, I believe, to solidify for all you YouTubers out there that are talking, oh, well, you got to do this, it's got to be above, otherwise it just needs to shut down. I would like to see them both do 600, 700,000 plus, at least 700,000. If they don't, it doesn't mean they're a failure, because it doesn't mean that some people have fallen off. Absolutely, because the people that got on board because Marvel blew up and all, we went through the whole superhero era, those people weren't going to stay on forever, okay? But there's enough of us normies, to support these movies, okay? If you don't think, so hey, do they have to find a way to make these movies with what you may call a 200,000 for effects and 200 million and 100 million for promotions? Yeah, they have to find a way to do all of that, and it can be done. And if they do that, there's enough of us on board to support these movies, okay? To where 600, 700. See, the thing is people are getting greedy. So, and it's you fans that are out there that are making it like, oh, it got to bust $1 billion. Yeah, if it busts $1 billion, that's a great thing. But that's not necessary. That's not always necessary with every freaking movie. A movie spends 250 million, 350 million, and doubles that. I think they've made a profit. Oh, but they're not in it to just make a profit. They're in to make a billion. Well, you know what? That's a crappy way to grow your company, because you want to get to that. But if you say I'm done if I don't get there, well, guess what? You're terrible. You're terrible. But anyway, so here we are. Superman has been released, and Superman looks like, I think the last time I checked, we were approaching 300 million. We're into the second weekend, and I think we just came out the second weekend, going into the third week. Fantastic Four comes out, so I'm hoping by this weekend they've hit 4. If they hit 4 by this weekend, I think it'll be smooth sailing to at least a good 6. I think they'll hit a good 6 if they hit 4 by this weekend. It's gonna slow down because Fantastic Four is coming out. You know what I mean? But I think that they'll make a good 6. So, and then of course Fantastic Four is coming out, and I think that's gonna be great. I think people are saying like, wow, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I knew that there were some things that I didn't quite like, and some of the stuff that just that we've been watching in this phase. What are we in, phase 5 now? Phase 4 and phase 5? Or phase 4? Actually, I think we just stepped into phase 6 come Fantastic Four. But phase 4 and phase 5, and here's what it is. I think we got a little too jokey, and I hope that James Gunn does not allow himself to do all this jokey stuff all the time. If he does that, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna fail. If he makes Batman a jokey, it's done. Batman's not jokey. Batman's not jokey. Okay? So he can make some jokes with some stuff, but you got to decide that some characters do not fit into that genre. They don't fit into that category. There's no comedy needed. So Thor: Love and Thunder. That's definitely at the bottom of my list. I didn't hate it, and I've watched it several times, and I will probably watch it again one day in the future when I go on a nice little Thor run. You know what I mean? I'll watch it. And the only reason I will watch it is because I enjoyed the Lady Thor part, and the God Killer, God Smasher, God Killer, that part. I enjoyed that. But all the laughing and the comedy stuff and Zeus and Thor up there doing all that was just goofy stuff. But you know, it didn't make me want to say, I'm not watching the MCU anymore. No. That was just one of the movies that is like, whatever. What's another one? How do you people not like Daredevil Born Again? All you people, oh yeah, Daredevil is gonna be that. Daredevil was as good as you can get. And you people, what is wrong with you people? It's never gonna be enough. And I know it's these people out here that they're not really comic fans. They're not comic fans. These are people that are still hangers on, and they found a way to make money by trashing things. So they found that Marvel has a very large audience, and if I trash it, I'll get clicks. Because I'll get clicks from those people that are really the fans. They're just kind of like the hangers on, or the new fans that, you know, will be easily persuaded. And that's unfortunate. If you didn't like Daredevil Born Again, then I don't know, you do got problems. You got problems. You got problems. But, and I'm not even a massive Daredevil fan. But that was good. That was good. And I'm just going to say that. So you had Daredevil. What was another one that, but I'm not going to dwell on that to keep that going. But hey, here we are. I think this is the relaunch. I think we have hit that plateau where now it's going to be upward sailing. We got Supergirl coming out. We got Avengers Doomsday coming out. We got the DCU is being, talking about who's coming next. They're putting Wonder Woman together. They're putting Batman. Hope this thing works out with Rob Patterson, because it'd be really nice to have him be the Batman, not another Batman, but the Batman within the DCU. Hope that works out. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So DCU's building up. Marvel is not coming back or getting back. They never left. They've always been there. The movies have been the movies, whether you chose to like them or not. That's just you. And Marvel ain't never went nowhere. They've been there. I've enjoyed the movies, like some more than others. That's okay. Captain America: Brave New World. Boom. What did that? It seemed like it was just leftovers from the Hulk. Okay, well, it wasn't leftovers from the Hulk. It was a part of a story that they decided to link into and finish that story off. The hell are y'all talking about? Okay, everybody got these fancy ideas. Marvel's out here being Marvel, and you guys are being sideline creators. Get the hell out of here. But anyway, I'm going to end it on that, y'all. And till next time, hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe. We'll talk about Once I See Fantastic Four, because I'm not going to wait till that comes to stream to watch it. When I will come and give you my thoughts on that. But Superman, I'm going to wait for the stream. Sorry, y'all, but I do want to see it, but I'm not going to go pay that money to see that. But I will pay for the stream. So I'm going to support it one way or another. But all you DC fans, get out there and do your job. Do your work. I'm going to do my work. I'm going to do my work for Marvel. Y'all do your work for DC. And at some point, we're all going to come together. Yeah. All right. Till next time. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments and peace.